There we go. Hello, everybody. My name is Audrey Majasante Goodman. I am the president of Black Advancement Incorporated, and I am joined today with the mayor of Frederick, Mr. Michael O'Connor. I will be conducting an interview today, but before we do that, let me tell you what Black Advancement is all about. Black Advancement is a nonprofit organization that seeks to combat problems within the Black community through action and dialogue. Now that I'm done with all of that, I will get right into what the solution is as far as what we came up with and why Mr. Michael O'Connor is here. Like what I said before, he is the mayor of Frederick. So the reason why we have the mayor of Frederick here is because we are doing something called the local political awareness. We have a booklet that we came out with that you'll probably see somewhere online or in other places, and definitely on this reel as we're running it. But the reason why we have him here is so that he can answer some questions and have some kind of like community engagement in terms of what it really means to be a politician within the local realm and how that impacts everybody's life. So it's part of it. Mr. O'Connor, it's great to have you on here, man.
Aji, my pleasure. I appreciate the invitation. The opportunity to talk about what we do, I think, is really important because if we need people involved in the process, and the more we can educate them, the better.
Fantastic. You know what? Enough of this stalling. Let's go ahead and get into the questions. Okay, question number one. What is your position and what is its primary function and how are those functions executed?
So I am the mayor of the city of Frederick. Frederick is the second largest city in the state of Maryland, a population of about 80,000 plus or minus as we're recording this. I am the head of government in the city of Frederick. I'm the chief executive officer. I am the supervisor to the 900 full and part-time employees of the city of Frederick. From an organizational chart perspective, every position ultimately rolls up to the office of the mayor. I appoint the directors. The directors oversee the various departments and functions of city government, from policing to planning to public works to economic development, legal, human resources, budget, finance, equity, communications, housing and human services, the full realm of services that the city provides. As the chief executive of that organization in Frederick, it is a strong mayor system. There are 157 municipalities in the state of Maryland. Each one of them has a slightly different structure in terms of the role that the mayor or their city council might play. In the city of Frederick, we have a mayor and a board of aldermen. That's the executive and the legislative branch. And it is a strong mayor, full-time mayor position in the city of Frederick. So this is my job all day, every day. For a lot of other mayors around the state, they have other jobs in addition to being the mayor of their community. So as the chief executive officer, it is exactly what that title would suggest. I create budgets. When the Board of Aldermen passes legislation, it is our job to execute and administer that legislation for the good of the residents of the city. And it's the best job I've ever had.
Fantastic. Question number two. Under what circumstances should someone contact your office and how would they most effectively do so?
I would say that it is never a wrong time for someone to reach out to contact the office of the mayor, but there are probably better first steps when you're running into a certain issue. So it really depends on what it is that you're observing. Obviously, if it's a public safety or an emergency situation, you're going to want to contact the police first. If it's a real emergency situation, you want to contact 911 first. But we certainly have situations where people may not know whether the police are the right responder. And so they reach out to our office to ask the question. And often we'll put those individuals back in touch with the agency or the department that needs to handle whatever the issue is. I always like to say that if certain issues have to be handled by the mayor, then there's some kind of a breakdown farther down that chain of command, because I don't do the planning. I don't do the policing. I don't plow the streets. I don't mow the parks. I don't perform the work on a day in, day out basis. And those are the common concerns that people are going to experience when they're reaching out to us. They've had a problem or they have a question. We want to put people who contact us into the hands of our subject matter experts in the departments that are working on the activities, the daily functions, the service delivery every day in the city of Frederick. So the city has a pretty robust website that offers people who visit it the chance to look at the various departments that we have. If they can't find exactly what they're looking for when they go to either the government tab or the departments tab on the city website. There is a tab that says I want to, and that gives a whole array of services that people can tap into. If people want to get a permit, or they want to make a complaint, or they want to understand road closures, or when their trash collection is occurring, our website tries to provide as much of that information. I'm not going to promise that it is perfectly navigatable. I haven't found one of those websites yet, but the website is a great first resource for someone that wants to like dive in a little bit to sort of what we're doing in the city of Frederick. There's a link there to get to my office, to get to me. Very often when people reach out to the mayor, you're probably not going to get me. I'm not the one answering the phone. You're going to get a member of my staff. We really want to be in that customer service business, resolve people's concerns before they have to talk to the mayor to get it resolved. But it does happen. And when it's necessary, we will communicate and talk to whoever we need to in order to help people understand and know that their government is here for them.
Indeed. Question number 3. How does what you do impact lives on a local level?
We are at our core a service delivery organization in the city of Frederick. So what we do every day is provide value add quality of life to the people who live, work, and play in the city. And so that is that full array of services that I mentioned. It's looking out and seeing a police officer on the street or having one of them respond when you're in need. It's the work crews that are out fixing a traffic light, or putting down a top coat on a street, or mowing a park, or fixing a park pavilion. It's our outreach workers in Housing and Human Services who are working with people who are in need of a whole array of services, whether they're underhoused, food insecure, in need of health services. We're in that service delivery business. We're all of those back of the house operations as well. We have a full budgeting function, a legal department. We do economic development and human resources. And all of that is intended to make sure that when we're delivering services to our residents, we're doing at the highest possible level that we can, in the most responsive way that we can, with the most professional and capable workforce that we can possibly put together. So we've made a strong commitment. I was elected mayor in 2017 to advancing principles of equity in the city of Frederick, to making sure that we built a more equitable workforce, that we built a more equitable government that could work for all of our residents in ways that it historically simply has not, because of holdovers from generational racism and generational discrimination. It's been really important as we move forward to say, how do we make the service delivery that we do in the city of Frederick work for every resident of this community? And so if it's a quality of life related issue, the city probably touches it in some way. And if there's a problem we need to resolve, it's going to get resolved faster at the local government level than at any other level of government.
All right. Question number 4. What is the top priority for a mayor in your case?
I think the top priority for me is maintaining that high quality of life for our residents. We're fortunate to be in one of the fastest growing communities in the Baltimore, Washington metropolitan region. And I think that's a testament to the fact that we're a desirable place for people to want to live. We're a desirable place for people to want to put their business. We have an outstanding school system, thanks to the collaboration of our Frederick County government and our state partners. And so what we're trying to do at the municipal level is our part to hold that high quality of life. And so that is ensuring that we are adequately staffed in all those departments that provide those services, that we're consistent and capable when we do the simplest things in the city, like pick up people's trash once a week. We want to make sure that people are satisfied with that service that they get at a basic level, that when they pick up the phone and they call one of our departments, they're looking to ask a question about a permit or about something that's happening in the city, that they get to talk to a real person, that they get responses in a reasonable amount of time to their inquiries, that if they have a question for one of our departments or a staff person or a police officer, that they get customer service that's friendly and timely and accurate and complete. That concept of timely, accurate, and complete information is so important to what we do every day. So the most important job for us is to make sure that we're delivering those services and maintaining that quality of life.
Fantastic answer. Number 5, what made you want to run for this position?
So that's a long and winding road. I went to college many years ago with the goal to become a sports broadcaster. I was going to do baseball broadcasting or go to work for ESPN. I'm a journalist by education, studied journalism and history when I was in college, all with that idea in mind. One's life often turns in directions that they don't anticipate. I grew up in a pretty news-heavy household. My parents were both scientists, but what I saw every day was the value of information. We talked about world issues, state issues, local issues. Coming from a family with 5 kids, everybody was fighting for their talking point around a very lively dinner table. My mother would say that I was pretty good at talking when I was growing up. Journalism appealed to me. The idea of knowing what's going on and being able to tell those stories and convey that information was really important to me. And I was very fortunate when I graduated from college to get a job working at a radio station in Hagerstown. And I thought that was going to be the first job and eventually a career in sports. But shortly after I took that job as a disc jockey, I was asked if I wanted to become the news director. And I was young and dumb and said yes. And that led me to understand the value that local government plays in people's lives. And so I spent the next 20 years covering local government in Hagerstown and in Frederick, municipal governments, county government, state government, to the degree that one can do a job and become an expert in how all of these pieces fit together. I felt like I was about as close as you could get because of the amount of time I'd spent actively engaged with local government officials at the municipal and county and state level. I changed jobs in 2006 because the work that I was doing in journalism was about to change, and I think it was going to change in a direction that I didn't want it to go. And there was a city election shortly thereafter, and I had seen some decision making by the city government at that time in 2009 that I just didn't think was good for the community. And so I think my story is in that regard not different from a lot of others of why they get involved. You see a problem and you want to fix it. You watch people do something and you think you can do it as well or better. There's a level of arrogance associated with running for public office. I'm not going to lie about that. You have to believe that you can do a better job than the people who are there, or why would you run in the first place? But it is that desire to serve, that desire to help. I'd always been active in community organizations, on service boards, with appointed to a couple of government commissions. Mm-hmm. Service was kind of in my blood as well, and it was just really a marrying of the household I grew up in, my educational background and training, and just my sense of responsibility to the community that I grew up in. I'm a Frederictonian, grew up in this community, and never thought that I would be mayor when I was walking the mean streets of downtown Frederick, in the 1970s and 80s. But here I am, and as I said earlier, it's the best job I've ever had.
Fantastic. Last question of the day. What do you believe is the importance of local government?
Local government is where people can most directly influence that quality of life for them. It's not that the work that the federal government or the state government or the county government does is not important. They're very important, particularly in the county government when it comes to like fire and rescue services and schools, which we don't do. Critically important. So in that regard, municipal government, county government are probably on equal levels in terms of their ability to influence and impact people's lives. But that housing development that's coming, or that new business that's opening down the street, or that transportation project, that bridge closure, or that road rebuilding, that's all happening at the local government level. And so we affect people where they live every day. And I'm really fond of something that our Governor Moore, says now, which is that the people closest to the problem are the people who are probably closest to the solution as well. And at the local government level, we are the people who are closest to the problems of our residents every day. Whether it's a concern from a downtown business about an uptick in maybe criminal activity in downtown Frederick, or concerns about speeding in a neighborhood. They don't pick up the phone and call the White House. They pick up the phone and they call the office of the mayor. And we're there. We deploy our resources in response to those kinds of questions. So the work that we do is critically important every day. We touch the lives of our residents every day with the services that we deliver. And I think it makes local government. And when it functions well, you can see it. And when it doesn't function well, you can equally see that also. I think it's the most important benefit that our residents can get every day is a well-run, effective local government, because it is trash collection and snow removal and park maintenance and policing and good planning. It's all of those things that our residents live with in their homes, in their blocks, in their neighborhoods every day.
Well, I'd like to thank you for giving us your time, man. It was a fantastic interview. I thought that you represented yourself well, which is better than what I can say for myself.
You did great. Thank you.
Oh, I appreciate that. I wasn't fishing for compliments at all. For everyone else who is watching, you know where to reach us. This will be on our YouTube channel, which is the Black Advancement. You can go to www.blackadvancement.com and see all the other different things that we have going on as far as solutions and more things on the local political awareness project. But with all that being said, we'd like to say peace and advance.